I think it's a bunny. Is that what y'all are saying? Some sort of critter. But yeah, that's number 2, day 6, 2 animals. So I imagine I'll get maybe one more. Good morning, friends. So, here we are, day 6. We're in Nassau today, and I'm planning on staying on board, making it kind of my own little sea day kind of thing, because I've been to Nassau several times, and a couple of times recently, so, yeah, no Nassau for me today. But that's okay. I'm gonna, I was able to sleep in, and just kind of keep it a nice, chill, more lazier day. Sometimes you need those, and this is my second one like this so far, so that's okay. But a couple things I wanted to talk to you about. Well, one thing in particular, I guess, is the cruise director. I actually haven't met him yet, and it's day 6. So he seems nice. He comes through the ceiling and tells us things. But I've not seen him, which is kind of weird because it's a small ship, and you'd think he'd be out and about mixing and mingling, but he's not. He's only been in the theater from what I understand, and I haven't actually been to the theater, so that's my fault. But also, I think some of the entertainment staff or performers or whatever are in quarantine right now, so a couple of the shows have been canceled. Like tonight's show was canceled, but then they might have something else instead. So if they do, I'll maybe go check that out. But I'm assuming they're going to have something over the next couple of days since we have sea days on the way back up. There was a magic show the other night that I missed, and they've done comedy. So I imagine there's going to be something that I'll get to so we can check out the theater and meet the cruise director finally. Bobby is his name. But I'm going to go figure out what I'm going to do with my life today. It's about 1 o'clock, so I slept in, and now I don't know, I'm going to maybe go up to the solarium for a bit, or, something. Get some food, whatever, and we'll see what we see and do what we do, and we'll talk soon.
A little bit of a correction to what I said in the previous clip. Yes, it was 1 o'clock when I recorded that, but I got up at 11, which admittedly is still really late. It always amazes me how many of you comment and whatever and say, I get up at 7 in the morning every morning, and I'm like, what? I'm definitely not wired that way. And also something to note, where I live in West Texas, it's actually 2 hours earlier than the East Coast, so when I get up at 11, it's actually like me getting up at 9 normally, so it's not so bad maybe. But I got up and showered and then hung out in my room for a little bit until I was hungry, and then it was time to actually go somewhere. But anyway, I decided to go up to the solarium because they had pretty good sandwiches and stuff there at Park Cafe. And on this day, they actually had the person there carving the roast beef, which if you haven't heard of Royal Caribbean's fresh roast beef sandwich before, it's actually got kind of a cult following, and it was definitely delicious. I actually wish I'd gotten more than one of them, although I suppose I could have just gone back up and gotten another one, but I didn't do that. But from there, I went out to the Centrum for some live entertainment, and I just chilled in there with my favorite bartender Heidi at the R Bar for a little bit. As I mentioned, I've been to Nassau quite a few times, and actually I was there 3 weeks before this cruise with my sister on the Carnival Conquest, so I wasn't really interested in going off into Nassau, especially alone. In trips past, I'd done excursions and stuff out of there, and it was a lot of fun, and it's always fine to take first-timers there as well. But Nassau's not my favorite port, so it was more or less another sea day for me. From there, I went up to the pool deck and grabbed a drink at the bar and chilled in the sun a little bit. This was one of the few days we actually had had good weather, so it was nice to be up there, just relaxing and working on my tan. I also got some footage of Nassau while I was up there, just to kind of prove that I was there and, add to the footage file or whatever. I did end up in a hot tub, but I was there with other people, so out of respect for them, I didn't, break out the camera and start recording. It was pretty interesting because it was an older lady and she basically cannonballed into there with me, and I thought she had fallen in, but then, when I got up and was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? She was like, oh honey, I did that on purpose. And then I found out that she was celebrating her 92nd birthday and that it was her first cruise ever. And I was like, man, I hope when I'm 92 I'm able to be, diving into a hot tub on a cruise ship. And her response was, oh honey, if you want to make it to 92 and be healthy like me, just drink a glass of Moscato every day. And I was like, oh my gosh, can I take you home? Can I keep you? And yeah, it was her brother who had brought her there on the cruise, and me in the hot tub just chatting like old friends. But yeah, from there I stuck my feet in the pool and decided it was too cold. That was kind of a trend for this entire trip. But I went down to the Centrum and hung out at the R Bar again. Got a Bloody Mary this time. You may have noticed at this point that the R Bar and the Centrum were kind of a regular meeting spot for me, and Chris and her daughter Kelly and the crew ended up meeting me down there, and we hung out there until it was time to go get changed for dinner.
Friends, so I stopped into my room real quick and bam. I think it's a bunny. Is that what y'all are saying? Some sort of critter. But yeah, that's number 2, day 6, 2 animals. So I imagine I'll get maybe one more. But I'm gonna put this guy over there on the nightstand like I did with the other one. But yeah, that's what's up. I'm gonna chill out for a little bit, and then there are a couple of things this evening that I want to do, so I'll take you with me. We'll see what we see, do what we do, and we'll talk soon.
So after another really great dinner with my table mates, I took the other solo cruiser at my table, Tina, up to Balearos with me because that's where Chris and Kelly wanted to meet. I've mentioned Chris and Kelly a few times, but I don't think I've ever mentioned Tina. They were the 3 I probably hung out with the most on this trip, and, me and them and a few others kind of formed a sort of large group of about 8 or 9 people or so. And if you ever cruise solo, I guess the advice I can give you is that, just be friendly, be personable, and try to meet people, and eventually they'll pull you into their group. But Balearos was Chris and Kelly's favorite bar, so we hung out in there for a while. And then there was another LGBTQ meetup at the Solarium bar, which again was closed for some reason, but they also had like a mega deck party going on, so we took the meeting out to deck 9, but it was pretty windy up there, so we sort of put together a sort of area off to the side under the overhang, and we hung out there for a while. They did have a few of the house singers in the theater, but I didn't actually go to that. The house singers on this cruise were really great, but they were actually recycling some of the music that they'd been singing and stuff throughout the week, so while I'm sure it was a great show, I decided to skip it, and our sort of large group decided to hang out in the R Bar in the Centrum again, and I stayed there for another hour or so, but then I made my way back to my room to call it a night.
Alright friends, that's a wrap. I'm gonna call it a night. Today was a pretty fun day. A little bit lazy and slow in some parts, but it picked up in the evening, and yeah. Tomorrow we're gonna be up at the pool, I think, so that'll be the majority of the activities for tomorrow. There's a couple of shows and things happening around the ship and different activities. So anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all those good things. We'll talk soon, and y'all have a good night.